Hey everybody, it's Queen Jelly and welcome to or welcome back to the Toy Box. This is a doll and toy themed YouTube channel meant for adult collectors like myself. With that being said, today's unboxing is going to be the next in our series of Universal Monsters collab dolls that came out recently. These are the mid-level collector dolls. As you can see, I have already unboxed the Mummy. If you'd like to know more about my adventures in actually getting these dolls, you can check out her video, which should be linked up above. But if it's not, it will be in the playlist of G1 style Monster High dolls. So with that being said, we're gonna go find out which doll we're unboxing today, because I'm actually going to be doing both of them back to back. So I'm just gonna surprise myself because I'm equally excited for the other two in this collection. So as you can see, they are still in their official shipping boxes. I ordered all three of them together, so they came in a larger box outside of that, but this is their regular shipping box. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open, and we're gonna be doing Dracula today, which, I mean, you guys already know from the thumbnail and title, but again, I didn't know which one I was doing. I just picked one of the two up, and this is the one. All right, let's go ahead and take a peek at her. I had already cut all the tapes on them just to make sure that they were here, but that was it. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, so really quick before I show her I just want to say that I do not have the original Dracula doll that they released. That was actually the first ever Mattel Creations drop that I tried to get and didn't. I actually really wanted that doll to launch this channel that you're watching right now, but it didn't go through, so I end up launching with my collection of Rainbow High dolls instead. But yeah, that was my original plan, because I wanted something big to drop the channel off on, and that was not something that I got. So she is part of my Grail dolls, which I have very few that I consider to be Grail. Most of the dolls, if I miss them, I kind of just, it is what it is. But I would love to have the original Dracula, so to have this one instead is it's not the same, but I still have a Dracula doll now, and that's so exciting. And here she is up a little bit closer. I'm already noticing these red eyes, and they look amazing. Keep in mind, these are kind of as close as you could consider to a slim box for a collector doll. So they're not full collectors. They're not the $70+ ones you find in Mattel Creations. These are $45, and these are purchased from retail. So right now they are available from Walmart.com, at least as of filming. And as always, I am not affiliated with any of these, I'm not affiliated with Walmart or Mattel or anything like that, but if they are currently available when I post this, I will put links in the description, if I remember to, of where you can get them. Again, for your convenience, not as an encouragement to purchase, just if you are already thinking about it, making it easier for you. Because sometimes I watch videos, especially when dolls just come out, and I'm like, where did you get that? And they never say, and it annoys me. So I like to try and make it easier for you guys if you are looking for them. But anyway, here she is. Let's go ahead and get her to the desk really quick so we can go over her box, and then that way we can get her open. I'm so excited! So here we are on the desk, but I did forget because I was so excited. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always, or hype the video if you're on mobile. Apparently that's where that is. I don't really know how that works yet, but any of those things really help out the channel. I am still small, but I am growing, and I appreciate every one of you that's here, but any help is appreciated. Anyway, today's visiting dolls are going to be our monster collection so far. So I do have the Bride of Frankenstein 2-pack, and I have the Creature from the Black Lagoon. So I do have the other two Mattel Creations released monsters. I just don't have, like I said, the original Dracula doll. So unfortunately, I won't be able to do comparisons with that. And we've already unboxed the Mummy. So those are who's visiting today. Now let's go ahead and take a look at her box. It is kind of hard to see on camera because this part here is so dark, but we'll take a little bit closer look in a moment. The overall frame is very similar to the other one. We have a skull up here, and then some lighting down here, which are some candles, and then we have these bats up here in the corner. I just wanted to show you what I mean by that. Similar to the Mummy box, we kind of have a light source down here, and then you can't see it because of the camera, but you kind of have a skull up here with a little bit of a design around it. So they do have a very similar design language. On the side, it says Monster High X Dracula, which it also says here on the front, which again is kind of hard to see just because of the dark red. It could also be my camera lighting right now, but here is the back of the box with an image of the doll. It says, "The strangest mystery of all time, back from the grave. In the dark depths of a spooky castle lurks a mysterious count named Dracula. The horror legend with a piercingly hypnotic gaze and shadowy eyes. Dracula stands out as an icon of sinister style. Sleeping in a coffin by day and hunting for prey by night, the story of the vampire will chill and thrill anyone brave enough to listen." And then lastly, we have another image of the doll on this side here with her holding her purse. And then the background of the box is Dracula's castle. So we kind of have this like staircase with some archways and spiderweb designs. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get her out of the box. We now have her out of the box. I'm going to go ahead and get these little plastic ties out while I talk to you guys for just a moment. Just because this is kind of new for my channel, I still want to let you know, just in case you haven't seen the mummy video, I'm going to be trying something different. Because I feel like whenever I kind of do my doll reviews immediately after opening, sometimes I kind of have a lot of thoughts that I miss or kind of feel like I'm rushing myself to get these out to you. So what I've been trying to do is get you my initial reaction, like of them in the box, and kind of just my first impressions, and then after that going to take a break and then come back in a little bit and actually talk about the like design and how I feel about the doll after having them for a little bit. For these ones, I'm actually going to be taking the 3 of them from this collection to do some photos and then come back and regroup once I've done all of that. I also am thinking I might do a compilation video like I've done with some of my other collectors. And I think at the end I might do a compare and contrast between the 3 dolls. Again, that's kind of still up in the air, but I think that would be kind of fun to just see like the similarities but also the differences between the 3. But anyway, there she is so far. Again, just stunning. I love this like cape detail. I was not expecting that. And I like that she has the painted nails, but I feel like her hand is also like a really nice shape for it. And they kind of have like this like long point to them. But yeah, that's my first impressions are like that she is on point. I love her. Again, for not having the original, I absolutely adore her. I don't know, like, I can't compare. Like I said, I don't have like a reference to it, so for people who have the original, this one might not be as great, but also this one was like a Playline or like mid-level collector, where that one was a full like Mattel Creations only release. So I don't really think it's necessarily super fair to compare them, but I also understand why. Like, I intend on looking at the Frankenstein versus the Frankensteins, even though one is gender bent and one isn't. I still, you know, would like to look at those. So anyway, that is her so far, and I will see you guys in a little bit. Well, I've now completed said photo shoot, and it is the next day, so I'm ready to go over all of the gorgeous details on this amazing doll. We are going to go ahead and start with the things she comes with. So she does come with a Monster High stand that you can see her standing on. It is the basic black stand, nothing special to it, and that is perfectly fine. I don't mind when they give us the basic stand on these more basic dolls, because they have a slightly lower price point. That means more of the details can go into the dolls. She does come with her one extra accessory, which is her coffin purse. This purse has a over-the-top handle, so it goes straight up and down. And yes, this is a coffin purse. For some reason in the mummy video I kept calling her sarcophagus a coffin, but this one actually is a coffin. On the front we have a web design with a skull in the middle, and if we open it up, there is actually molding on the inside as well, so this kind of makes it look cushiony. And then it's kind of hard to see, but there are some little like molded designs inside, including little rat here, and then a little bit a little one further down. Again, this does open and close. The back is all one piece, so the handle is solid, but then this red piece at the front is a separate piece so that it is, you know, red instead of black. So it is actually molded as opposed to like being painted or anything like that. But I do like the attention to detail on there. Now for the star of the show herself, Miss Dracula. So of course we're going to start at the bottom with her heels. All right, so first up we have her black heels. They are black and red design. I feel like the basic shape language is pretty similar to most Monster High dolls that we have, although these do have a peekaboo toe design that isn't super common. I do like that there is this little red buckle here that looks like a skelet, and it is painted on, which is a very nice extra detail. And then she does have these little bats in the heels. Technically, I would think that these would be considered object heels since they are essentially separate pieces that are glued onto the back, but they really flow into the overall design, and I appreciate them, especially with, I do like the matching heels better, and they are like this semi-opaque red, and I think they look really clean and match this design super well. On the straps, there's also these two black areas hanging down on the front, which I believe are meant to be kind of like fangs. She is wearing fishnet tights that do go all the way up, so they are full tights, which is always appreciated. And you can also see that they are all the way down to her toes by looking through the little hole here. I do really appreciate that. I understand when dolls have incomplete tights just for ease of dressing and undressing or to kind of save on fabric costs, but I really appreciate when for these collector dolls they go the extra mile and make sure that they are full and complete pairs that you could essentially use for redressing if you would like. And I took off her jacket so we can look at that in detail. I also have her hands here so we can take a look at those, and then we'll take a look at the rest of the outfit piece. So first up is her jacket. It did come with a little black tie right here holding it together, which I was originally going to leave, but it made it quite difficult to look at and review for you guys. So here it is on the inside. As you can see, there is no lining or anything, but there is this really nice red stitching going around the outer rim, as well as goes around the edges of the sleeve. I really like that attention to detail, because obviously they could have just done a black stitch, but I think the red stitch looks really clean, and you can see it from the outside as well. She does have these cute little puff sleeves on the jacket, and then it has this bat wing collar that is kind of scalloped all the way around, and it is attached to this cape, which has the same design here at the bottom. I really do like this. At first I thought this was going to have a Velcro down the back because I thought the attachment at the front was like an actual like seam. I didn't realize until I went to look at the back that it was actually, like I said, a little plastic tie, because you can kind of still see it in that black piece there, so that it blended right into the outfit. And I think that was, again, a nice attention to detail, good for display purposes. The underside is not lined or anything like that, but it is all made in this like faux silk, so the outside is nice and shiny, and the underside that you don't see too much of is more of a matte black. Her hands, I believe these might be one of the sculpts they use for the Sanderson sisters because of the nails, but I could be wrong. They are a little bit shorter, but they are still pointed and long, and they are painted red, which I think is a really nice detail. I really appreciate that they did the painted nails on these, because sometimes that's something that is very small but really adds to the doll. And then lastly is her dress. So as you can see from the back, it is one continuous Velcro piece. That's why I call it a dress, because it is not a shirt and skirt. I know that can be really hit or miss, but I do think that that was the right choice for this design. The number one is that this cummerbund here does actually really help sell the illusion that they are two separate pieces, because you still get that kind of like dimension and like overflow of having this stick out just a little bit more than the white undershirt. And I do think having the white undershirt sewn in is what's going to keep it looking nice and crisp. It's going to make it really clean, because as it is right now, it's pretty hard to get this dress on her because it is so form fitted. But I think having that extra layer of having the white shirt underneath it would make this really bulky. So that's why sometimes, especially with these really thinner bodies from the G1, it is kind of nice to have the pieces sewn together. Sure, it's not the best for redressing, but like I don't intend on redressing these dolls, so I don't really mind it too much that this isn't as connected, or that this is connected. You can also see there's these little stitching lines here to make this like super fitted, and it is a tank because she has the jacket. Same thing as with this being attached. It makes it so that it's less bulky on these really small designs. Now for the skirt itself, we do have that same design language of having the red thread go around it and the cummerbund area. This does have a more pleathery style as opposed to like the faux silk from this. But it does feel like that softer pleather, so it may tear over time, but it won't degrade as quickly as like the thicker pleather would. She does have these kind of like ruchings here at the side. I don't know if there's a specific name for them, but they are right here on the hip to kind of give her a fuller look around that area, especially because it is kind of very like a pencil skirt where it's very tight to her legs here, but then kind of fluffs up here around the hips. This plastic piece is currently rubber band to her, but is a separate piece that opens in the back. It is her medal. You can see the D there for Dracula and the little skull designs around the outside. Obviously this gold is painted on top of the red plastic. Then we have the bow. The bow is sewn into the top of the shirt, and then she has this really ruffled collar that does go all the way around to the back. Next up is going to be her earrings, which, if I can get them out of her hair, they are made of the same material as the bats on her heels. They are this red kind of semi-opaque earrings. I really like the way that they reflect through this onto her skin. That looks really cool. But it has a skull at the top and then drips down into this like blood shape. They are the same on both sides. As you can see, she has a very thick head of dark hair. It does go all the way down to her knees and kind of makes this V shape down here. Let's see if I can focus it. There we go. It kind of makes this V shape down here, which I think is meant to be reminiscent of the widow's peak that she has on the front. That area of the front where you would kind of like maybe have like bangs, like right here in the front, is pulled back into a half up style, but then flows down into the rest of her hair. Now, as for her face, honestly, this is, for me, like the best part of this doll. I think they did such an amazing job on it. The lips and the eyes, they stand out so much. So she has this super dark red lip, but then there's also this like black underneath it and in the middle here that really accentuates the white fangs that are painted on the top. Then she has a super sharp little nose here. And then we go up into her eyes, which have these like glitter paint in them. And I love the way that they stand out. Like, again, let's focus. Even from afar, like the way that the glitter like bounces the light off of them and makes them look like blood red, like she just drank. I don't know, I love it. And then we have in her inner corners a little bit of light pink to really give some life to her. And then she has a dark black outline that goes all the way under and around her eye, a little bit of eyelashes underneath her, and of course above. And then she has kind of like a white cut crease to kind of break up some of that black, and then a gray like smoke out into a light white gray under her eyebrows to kind of frame them. And then she has these really dark bushy eyebrows. I do like this like attention to detail right here in the center, again, to kind of make them look bushier, kind of make them look very like European. I think they did such a phenomenal job with them. And if we pull back her hair, you can see that she does have the pointed ear sculpt. So even though it's something that you can't see, she does have a sculpt with amazing, beautiful pointed ears. And again, she has this little nose and these really like angular features, and I think they did an amazing job. If this doll is reusing a face sculpt and you know what it is, please let me know, because I think they did an amazing job picking the faces for these dolls. I was thinking while I was editing about how on the back of their head there is a sculpt date. So as you can see, it says 2021, which would work out for the original Dracula doll that was released in 2022. Usually the head sculpts are made before the dolls actually release. So was this the head sculpt used for the original Dracula and they just reused it for this one? If so, that's actually really smart, and I don't know why I didn't realize that. So again, I don't know if these are new sculpts or maybe they're modified sculpts, but either way, this fits her so perfectly and I just absolutely adore it. All right, so it has been a couple days since I filmed that last clip. I just haven't been able to have the time to get her final review done, but I want to get this video out for you guys, so I'm taking the time now to sit down and talk about them. I also want to add that if you enjoyed this video and want to know a little bit more about Dracula, or you're interested in the other two dolls, I will be posting a compilation video shortly that is going to have all three dolls in it, but also at the very end of it I'm going to add in a new clip talking about all three dolls together. It's going to be helpful, especially if you're trying to decide which one that you would like, if you only want to get one, because I'm going to compare all three of the dolls together so you can see like what each of them comes with. If you've already watched this video or the other two and you just want to see the clip at the end, feel free to scroll on, but that will again be in a future video. For now, we'll talk about Dracula. I still think she's my second favorite in the collection. Kind of close to first. I don't know. I really love the glitter eyes. It's just such an amazing detail. I don't like how much the earrings get stuck in the hair. Like, I feel like I'm constantly having to move them around to get them like actually down in place, but that could just be because of how much I like fidget with the doll and like flip her around and stuff. But again, I really like this design. I know it is very slimmed down from the original, but it's meant to be. It is a $45 doll and not a $70 doll. Honestly, I could see a world in which Mattel Creations put this on for $70. Because of how high prices had been getting on Skelectors. Although I will say lately they've been starting to up the quality and down the price just a little bit. They're still $70, but we were getting close to like $90 a release for some of them, it felt like. I don't think we quite reached that. I know the 2-packs obviously are more expensive, but I just feel like we were kind of getting like up and up in price there for a little bit, and I think we're finally starting to see the feedback from the community actually being able to hit and be taken into consideration, because obviously they plan stuff out quite a bit ahead of time, but I personally think $45 is a good price point for these. Obviously like $30 probably would have been a little bit better, because we're, you know, comparing to something like this that's $30. But this doesn't have extra licensing fees that this has. So, and obviously they're two very different companies that run very differently. But I do think that for comparing to other Monster High releases, I think 45 is a good, or 43 is a good price point for these. Because I was able to get all three of these dolls for roughly what it costs, like with shipping and everything, for like a 2-pack Skelector. So, again, is that the best price in the world? No, but it's definitely better than what we've been getting. Again, overall, glad to have her in my collection. I think that she's a amazing design. Again, I don't have the original, so if you feel differently about that, if you have the original, I completely understand. But without that, I think she is a standout. Again, the little details like having the nails painted and everything, just an absolute win for me personally. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I actually enjoyed making it, so thank you so much. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Thank you so much for each and every one of you for being here, and we'll see you soon in the next one. Bye.